Working Interferences is intended for mature audiences. Since the hosts never grew up, someone needs to be the adult.
Welcome to Working Interferences with Lance, the dental advice podcast for the average dentist. Here is Lance.
All right, welcome back to Working Interferences.
You are a piece of shit.
I know. So
you just completely...
So I feel the love so much. And when I say love, hate, is that the word?
No, we're fine.
Okay. All right.
Everybody's
so
fine.
By popular demand, people requested for more drunk Holly.
Oh
and
my
so
God,
we've...
shit story.
Tell me about your shit story.
I'm just...
All right, so we did...
we went to dinner
it's Wednesday.
with our daughter, with Brianna. We went to dinner with our daughter, Brianna.
That's what you said.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Next.
Why'd you even bring that up? What's that got to do?
Because it's Wednesday.
Right, it's Wednesday. So we had dinner with Brianna, and we go to this Vino at the Landing in Renton, Washington.
With Egypt and Tara.
Yes. Love them.
If you've never been there, that's a place to go because it's really fun. It's kind of like Cheers. We go there every Wednesday.
Yeah, once they know us, we're regulars.
Hang out with Brianna.
They know us.
We do a thing.
And so we had, bottles of wine there, and because, was it Jennifer Simpson? Who was it that said that they love drunk Holly makes her laugh every time?
I don't know, but I'm having to struggle today.
Yeah. Suddenly, because you were fine until like 2 seconds ago, and then you just railed because I opened a bottle of Tertulia Cellars, and you're like, God damn it, they ran out of business, which I didn't realize meant don't open the bottle.
Yeah, because that's all we have.
Because yesterday you said make sure you open the Tertulia, the box over there.
But
it's not a box wine, it's a box full of bottles.
They're one of the only ones that carry Carmenere in Washington State.
Mm-hmm. And how's that working for you?
They actually know what to do with Carmenere.
As opposed to
everyone else.
Okay.
And because of 2020 and the clusterfuck that Washington is.
What was 2020?
Oh my God. I can't.
I don't understand. What's 2020?
They didn't get to sell all their wine. They didn't have the tourism. They didn't have shit.
Are you kidding? Everybody was drinking in 2020.
Everybody was drinking what they had, but they weren't going to Walla Walla to buy their fucking wine. And so this winery didn't sell enough.
So is it good or bad to drink their wine?
No, because I'm not going to ever be able to have their wine again. And
how many bottles do you have?
12.
Okay. So I think you're going to drink some of their wine.
We've already drinking 6 of them.
Drinking
and Sanks.
Tell me.
What's Sanks?
I don't know. It says like Sanka?
It's like Spanish or something. Sanks.
I have no idea what you're trying to say.
Shut up. I don't want to talk to you anymore. Shut up, Bianca. Stop throwing in words.
I also took French in high school, and I know that.
I didn't hear you. What?
I can't.
Seis.
Seis. I've had 6 of their bottles.
Spanish.
Everybody's against me. I really feel drunk, so can we move it along?
You totally are not drunk.
This is just what you look like in act.
Okay, so we were talking about what should we talk about this week, and I actually took notes.
Okay, I'm ready
to start because this is just. All right, so take 2. We're going to try this all over again. By popular request or popular comments that the feedback, people like Drunk Holly. So I thought it was going to be a good idea to get you all liquored up.
It's not a good idea.
So I figured we pre-gamed. We went to the Vino.
Well, we went to dinner with our daughter, which we always do on Wednesday nights.
Have some wine, and then I got you back here, and I said, I'm going to really make sure
But the problem was, we got back here, you opened the bottle, and you sat down, and we started.
Yeah.
I hadn't even had a drink of my wine that you poured. The whole room started spinning, and I did the Irish goodbye of, I have to go now. Because Holly all of a sudden was in the tilt-a-whirl and she couldn't get off.
I just thought you had a bathroom emergency, and so I kept waiting, and and I kept drinking the wine, going,
Well,
I think she'll
thank
be
God
back.
you didn't waste the bottle of wine.
Right,
when you went
exactly.
ahead
So
and drank
I
it.
watched an episode of Boba Fett.
But I
and-
never came back. So now I'm back. It's the morning. I'm really back.
So, yeah.
But I just got a message from a friend of mine who also does a podcast, and
Oh.
she's a therapist. And she goes, "Oh, I never did respond about listening to your guys' podcast." She's like, "My husband and I actually listened to it and really liked it, but we want you to go back to another and talk candidly about being married to a dentist."
Oh, God. I'm not sure I really want to do a live take of this. I want to give you a script.
You know, I do think that it's unusual. It's so,
Is it? I mean, I'm just a dude.
well, it's not just you. It's the product of the whole of being married to a dentist. So we've been married it's coming up on 30 years,
Oh, I have no idea.
something like that. I don't really know.
I think we're at 28.
I'm a terrible math person. No, I don't think so.
27?
I think we're 29 and
Oh, yeah.
29.
I got to carry
And
the one. Yeah.
our anniversary is in June.
Yeah.
So, but I do think it's interesting because I had another friend that from when my girls were little, I have known her for, God, I don't know, 24 years, something like that. And she had been married, got divorced, and was single for a very long time. And then she got married again, but she married a dentist. And everybody's like, "Oh my God, she's married a dentist. She has it made. Life is great." And I talked to another friend of ours who's like, "God, she's having a really tough time. And I don't know what she's complaining about. She's married to a dentist." And I looked at her just dead face and I was like, "Yeah, because you have no idea. You have no idea what it's like being married to a dentist. You're married to somebody who pays somebody literally to clean up after them at their office. They don't have to clean anything. So when they come home, especially if they've been single for years and years and years, and they probably have a housekeeper, now they're married, got rid of their housekeeper, and they have a wife. And if the wife isn't like on board to be the housekeeper, it's a whole shitstorm of trouble,
So I'm feeling attacked right now.
which is fine.
Okay.
You can own being attacked. But I mean, it's a different animal. You don't have the luxury of, oh, go look for another job if you're not happy.
Yeah, that part I think gets overlooked. If you're the practice owner, I mean, there's a lot of that's why the being an associate so enticing to me.
Well, but even being an associate, I look at I almost called him Uncle Clint. Clint. Look, we love you, Clint. You're one of our favorite humans ever. I look at Clint. It's not as easy to just go to another office.
Well, there's definitely some downsides to it. You're not in full control, but as a practice owner, you're married to two people. You're married to your wife, and you're married to the practice.
Yeah, and you know, it's a whole other ballgame. Everybody's like, "Oh, you're married to a doctor." I'm like, "No, I'm married to a dentist. I'm not married." I mean, yes, he has.
Again, I'm feeling attacked here.
But there's
fuck?
such a weird illusion of what it means to be married to a dentist. And I hate to say it, there's a lot of misinformation out there. I mean, I grew up in a church where the more education you had, the higher you got to climb the ladder of the church. And so you always associate that with, oh, that would be the great catch. I mean, you weren't going to dental school when we met, and you weren't even applied to dental school, or you hadn't even figured out you wanted to go to dental school until after we had met and been dating. So, but a lot of people, that's like, oh, I need to marry him. He's going to dental school, or I need to marry him because my life will be made. You know, it's hard. I mean, and I know I'm not a treat. I am far beyond a treat. And
I'm going to choose to remain silent.
But it's an
my
interesting
Miranda rights. I'm not waiving my Miranda rights.
You're like, safety will.
Yeah. Silence is golden.
But it's
and advised.
You know, I look at a lot of people And a lot of dental wives, it's a struggle for all of us, I would say. I don't know anybody who is kind of just along for the ride. I mean, it's a different beast. You can't just go get another job. You can't, just walk away
or relocate.
We can't get up and move. We can't, like we moved to Seattle so that our kids would be near their grandparents. Mm-hmm. Had I had it to do over again, I most likely would not have chosen that path.
No.
I would have chosen a path of very sunny, very warm, and we would just fly to visit Grandma and Grandpa. Mm-hmm. It's not something that I would have done. So it's a weird thing. I mean, and then to kind of have your hand forced into dentistry, and that does happen with a lot of dental spouses, whether it's a guy or a girl, you get your hand dealt to you, even if it's not of any interest to you.
Right. Kind of like, I don't know if you knew this, Erin Elliott's husband is helping out. Recently, he's taken over being the sleep champion.
Yeah.
And so he is quickly learning, doing very well. I am told that able to scan arches and she's able to delegate the sleep aspect.
Well, it's not rocket science, but if it doesn't interest you at all,
right? And I don't believe he was very interested, but it was a need. It was, and he seemed gracious to do it. I don't want to say he's.
Well, I mean, I do it at a necessity, and I make the best of it. Mm-hmm. I really like our patients. But I don't. It's not. It doesn't allow me a creative outlet. It doesn't, like, at least in some points of your day, it does allow a creative outlet.
Right.
For me, I feel like I am constantly having to be on guard, and I'm always having to be ready for the next fight because I deal with the bullshit. Mm-hmm. And I am like your first line of defense. I'm like, no, you can't see him. I mean,
right. The proper person up front is going to be the key master or the gatekeeper, gozer, to make sure that people don't get to see me.
Well, and that's the thing.
There's too many people that will want
and so, and there's a lot of really.
So the answer to your friend's question is it sucks.
I mean, the nice thing is, and you and I feel like we work pretty well together.
You think so?
I know I'm delightful to work with. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
That's what I said. Weren't you listening?
But I mean, I just think it is an interesting position to be in, because the outside world that doesn't know anything about dentistry or how any of it works thinks that I have it made and that I sit in the lap of luxury. And I'm like,
well, most people, what I'm getting feedback, most people just think that you open your door as a dentist and just people come in and there's always patients and it's just a constant flow, not realizing there's ebbs and flows, and 1 month might be gangbusters productivity and the next month might be a lot of crickets.
Yeah. I mean, and that wears heavily on both parties in a marriage. Mm-hmm. Because it's not, I mean, do I regret it? No. I mean, we've had a great life. Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, it's been touch and go sometimes, but who isn't?
Right.
And, at the end of the day, I still like you for the most part. Unless the dishes aren't done and I have to do the dishes. But yeah, I just thought that was an interesting message. I got that this morning, and we've had some good feedback from people. I appreciate the feedback.
Yeah,
and if you don't think we actually read them, we do.
No, we love the reviews. We love the feedback. If you've enjoyed the show, please even edit your review just to
give it a new, refreshing stance on it.
We love the feedback. It's been mostly, if not entirely, positive. I can't think of.
Yeah, it's been really great. And we just had a review. I don't remember. I didn't know his actual real name. But it's nice to have that feedback that I am an okay substitute for Josh.
Yeah.
So
Now, what's interesting, I had to translate a few things because Erin Elliott always tries to be the first one to say WID, which is
because I was like, I don't know what that means.
which is Working Interferences Day, said in the voice of Billy Madison when it was Nudie Magazine Day.
Okay, I love Billy Madison.
I know.
That's one of my favorite movies.
Which is a litmus test. If you didn't like it, then we can't be friends. Yeah. So, and another shout out to Erin Lousignont. Apparently his new associate actually has been listening to the show since dental school, and she still makes his life an absolute joy. And I think that's awesome.
Knock on wood.
So that Erin was able to find someone. It sounds totally accidental, like it wasn't even by design or anything, and it just is working out way better than ever hoped. So that's awesome for him. Now you've been up. Now you kind of dipped your toes into some dental groups. Your Facebook wasn't flooded with dental things, and now you've kind of. I think I forwarded something that was funny in a group, but you couldn't see it because it was a private group. So then you joined the group, and now you're seeing how bitchy dentists are.
Well, the one thing that is really surprising to me, it is such a small industry, and I don't understand what these people are doing.
When you say these people, you being racist?
No. Well, maybe.
Okay.
I'm classifying dentists as these people. Or even staff members. Do they not know that this industry is so small that you have 6 degrees of dentists?
Right.
Everybody knows somebody down the line.
The 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon become
100%.
this. Yeah.
And I'm on some of these Facebook forums, and I'm like, dude, I know this guy. You're totally talking shit about somebody I know, and I actually know him personally. So I know that this is turning into a dick measuring situation, and your panties are all in a bunch because you didn't get what you wanted.
Well, what's interesting is I don't think you've been able to see it. I don't really talk about it that much, but there's a lot of predatory people out there in dentistry that will come off in a guise of, I'm going to help the new grad and be nice, and but really the efforts are always it doesn't take long for most people to figure out the end game, and that this person really isn't as admirable as many think. But there's definitely acolytes out there that will then come to that guy's defense, and this one person that you were referring to was stabbed in the back enough, or bad enough taste, that he is making sure that it's well known the real machinations that this guy does. And so it invites feedback from the acolytes that it will. I mean, it really, it's like a cult. And
really is.
Being familiar with the cult, I can see the
methods. You've got certain things or people or even schools of dentistry that, it's taboo to talk about, it's taboo to criticize, it's, but I am shocked. And I'll say this, especially on some of the forums, like the assistant forums or the hygienist forums, and because I'm parts of I just kind of sprinkle myself through, and I just kind of watch everything.
Mark
and
your
I'm
territory.
Yeah, always, always. This is mine. This is mine. This is mine. This is mine. But I'm like, you do know that shit talking your boss on a forum and think that nobody else on this forum knows your boss.
Right.
You are dumber than a fucking rock at the bottom of Charlie Brown's Halloween bag.
Okay.
And
oddly specific.
I'm just, it gives them a visual because they can't see anything. But I would encourage some of these, a lot of dentists to be a part of those forums to see what's being said out there. Because
I joined a local group not long ago, and I saw one of my former employees make comments, and she was one of the dumbest, stupidest people that has ever breathed air. And I saw her giving advice. I'm like, oh my God!
Please don't take it from her.
And how do you tell the group she's a moron without really looking like an asshole?
Well, and saying she's a moron.
Yeah. she's such a moron, and I was afraid of. I mean, I blocked her. I want to make sure I never saw her stuff. I didn't want her seeing my comments and things because, what?
But I mean, yeah, because as dentists and just employers in general, you only can see what is right in front of you.
Right. But I mean, did you take advice from her?
Oh, God, no. God.
I got to, it's 20 minutes and I got to beat that.
Oh, Jesus. She was, well, and that's the thing is, you know, and I hate to say it right now because people are so desperate for employees that they're taking just any breathing person.
The stupid people have job security.
And, you know, and we've found ourselves in the situation of, you know, do we let this person go? And my response to Lance is, are you prepared to clean up after yourself? Because none of us are going to run in there and do it. So you either going to make it work or let her go and clean up after yourself. But, I mean, the luxury you do have is you can do everything that you do without an assistant, where a lot of guys can't do that.
Probably the Chrome surgeries, that's hard. All the
no,
blood
but I'm fine with assisting on those.
And so you were surprisingly amazing. So, but generally speaking, doing crowns, doing fillings, I don't need.
Well, that's the thing.
Because of the Isolite. A big shout out to Zyris because that
that was a game changer for you.
I won't practice dentistry. So every time I go to offices to help them out, I ask, do you have an Isolite? And if they don't, it's just a miserable day. I absolutely hate working without one. So,
well, and I don't want to say you're a prima donna, but you kind of are. But it's because you
like what I like.
Well, and you're welcome for learning that phrase. Footnote on that. Everybody makes fun of me when we go out to dinner because
you're Sally from When Harry Met Sally.
Well,
you're dressing on the side, and if you don't have the Caesar,
then I know what is going to taste good.
Then if you don't have the Caesar, then I don't want anything.
Well, I came from the food industry. I am very good in the kitchen, and I know what tastes good.
You're great in the kitchen.
I know. Well, it's a thing. I have many talents. But it's, I am that person. If you get really embarrassed with people who ask 9 million questions at a restaurant and then ask the chef to redo all of their stuff, don't ever go to dinner with me.
Right. Or can you bring the chef out here? I want to learn how they did this.
Could you ask him if I could have his recipe and his technique? Because I thought he did a very good job. And I have done that many a times. And everybody's...
You get these chefs coming out here ready for a fight, thinking that something was wrong and she was but then they become best
love
friends.
Me. Yeah. Then we have a great old time.
You get their email address and you guys are Instagramming. I mean, it's just, it's weird. It is... I mean, I say weird, I meant awesome.
Yeah. Well, it's gotten us into a lot of really good places, so just mind yourself, sir.
I'm not complaining at all.
But yeah, I just want to put a shout out. If you're so angry at another dentist that you are consumed with shit talking them at every turn and posting shit about them at every turn, first of all, you really need to go to therapy. Second of all...
And a shout out to BetterHelp. BetterHelp was a online version. Our daughter was needing a change in therapist and people weren't returning her calls. But BetterHelp is out there.
Yeah, definitely. Whatever avenue, because even with that, you get to interview your therapist.
Right.
So I appreciate that. You can find the one that's going to work the best for you. And, our daughter, she needed someone who was going to give her homework every week. Mm-hmm. Things to work on.
She's kind of a task-oriented person. And
I was somebody who...
She's a procrastinator, but she'll do her homework eventually.
Exactly. But I needed somebody who would call me on my shit and wasn't afraid of me. Mm-hmm. So that's what I got in my therapist. So interview. I highly recommend therapy to everybody, especially in the dental field, because seriously.
Yeah. Oh, and I actually have notes. So one of the notes I brought up was fake reviews. You had thoughts? You had specific thoughts on people pretending to be people to make a review.
Well, my thing is, which is weird because we've actually traced it back to a couple people in the dental field.
Mm-hmm.
And why is our success such a threat to you?
Well, I just think it's absolute bullshit to take something, because this even happened with Josh. Josh said something disparaging. It was gotten an argument with some hygienists, and some hygienist in like Colorado made a fake review on Yelp about him, and so she was all high and mighty, and you know, the keyboard warrior, where behind the screen they can say whatever they want, and you know, all that. But then Josh used his kung fu and could trace it back and found out who she was and who her employer was, and got told, let the boss know. Suddenly she became very apologetic. I don't think she lost her job, but she may have.
She should have.
It was a couple years ago, so it was before the staff shortage. So she should have been fired.
Well, and that's the
it's
thing.
a horrible thing to do. Fine, we're going to argue and say shit on Facebook. That's just is what it is. But don't go in the real world and start to try to destroy someone's livelihood.
Which is the thing. It's, you know, karma is a real thing. Mm-hmm. And karma is on their own clock. So you do shit like this.
Well, this is why Tom Hadley had an idea, and it was a good idea. I just don't know how. It hasn't gotten off the ground because none of us can figure out how to do it. But there's got to be a way where we can actually rate patients, so they feel all empowered to give 1-star reviews. But how about we find a way to blackball them so they can't get treated or are only funneled to the lowest level
denominator of
because I think if people knew that their behavior could lead to,
well, that goes back to that one creepy show that the girls were watching during
that like Black Mirror or
Black Mirror. They had an episode where you rated everybody that you came in contact with.
Social currency.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I don't believe in that.
Yeah, that was a bit extreme, but
that is that's the whole thing is if you were a piece of shit human being, guess what? Everybody knew you were a piece of shit when they came in contact with you because your picture showed up on their phone.
Yeah.
And it said, "Oh, you're a 1-star human." Nope.
Yeah.
There's the door. Bye-bye. But yeah, it's really interesting.
There's probably a way, and Tom Hadley needs to get in on that.
Come on, Tom.
So he can get his patent and his sweet, sweet cheese. Yeah.
But I just, you know, I feel like dentistry is negative enough. Mm-hmm. You guys don't need to be turning on each other. And if you don't like somebody, here's a concept. Walk away.
Yeah.
Don't deal with them anymore. And, you know, I'm a big advocate of walk away. If you're a piece of shit human being, I'm done. I'm shutting you down and moving on.
And there was a song by a Liverpool group, Cast, and the song was Walk Away.
Walk away. If you said all you got to say, now your words just slip away. Just walk away, walk away, walk away.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like, do you think that fighting with me or getting into a massive heated discussion is going to change my mind? Mm-hmm. And this is something we talked about during this whole COVID thing is I've never been in an argument with somebody where we both walked away with each other's opinion.
Right. Well, it's we brought this up yesterday because there's a fake influencer out there.
Oh, God. You know what? I'm sorry. Dental influencers.
You're not that important.
Well, and unless you've actually done something other than creative posts on your Instagram.
Yeah. Well, and I guess this person somehow was a KOL early in their career. But this person hasn't even been out of school in a couple years.
20 minutes ago, he was in dental school.
But he's getting dropped as a KOL. And so he wrote a strongly worded letter to the people that were dropping him. And then he took a picture and put it on Instagram so everybody could read, thinking, I guess he's thinking people are going to side with him or something. All it does is prove that it's the old Mark Twain thing. It's better that you remain silent and people think you're an idiot rather than open your mouth and remove all doubt.
Right.
He's proving he's a moron. And I'm actually kind of enjoying the shit show that it's become.
But it's just...
It's a train wreck. I can't walk away. I literally feel like I need to pop popcorn and just keep scrolling and watching him
because...
implode.
And that's the thing that I feel like that's one of the reasons that I feel like dentists need therapy is they feel like they're not heard. Mm-hmm. Because you have these patients so in our office, we have a magic 8-ball and we have a crystal ball.
I have it in the hygiene room, so when they ask me stupid questions, I can grab it.
But that's the thing is, we have dumbass people that are like, okay, can you tell me when it's going to break? And he's like, oh, hold on, let me grab my magic 8-ball. And he'll shake it, and they're like, what are you doing? He goes, this is basically how I'm going to be able to tell you when your tooth's going to break. And they're like,
it doesn't look good.
Ask again later. I mean, come on. But, I think in dentistry, it's better to just walk away from somebody than to try to make them look bad by constantly bashing them, because the only person that looks bad is you. And it's the same thing. I mean, that's what I told the girls when they were all growing up. I'm like, the only person that looks bad here is you, because you can't just walk away. If you walk away, it goes away eventually. If you're constantly harping on the situation, it's never going anywhere. But the only person that looks bad is you. And, you never know who are on these Facebook forums. I mean, I'm surprised they've let me on a couple, because I don't even think I have anything that marks me as being in the dental field.
No visible scars?
No, but nothing like in my bio or anything.
With a limp and...
that whole Nancy Kerrigan, take your knees out. But it's really, I think there needs to be some conversation amongst people and stop bandwagging. If somebody's posting shit about somebody else, do not get on the thread and continue it. Grow the fuck up, pull your head out of your ass, and be a decent human. It's the same thing. Wash your damn hands. Don't be a disgusting human being.
Right.
Walk away.
So, Holly, this is an advice show.
Okay.
Where we try to answer people's questions that we find in those neat little Facebook groups. I really should have said all this much earlier. We answer those questions we find on Reddit. We try to answer the questions that
Gordon Christensen cannot answer.
Which are a lot.
Well, the ones we choose. Because we're not going to choose questions like, what's the best bonding agent? Because we all know that apparently my recent bonding agent isn't as good, because I had to redo a case and the stuff came off too easy. So I'm going back to Optibond Solo Plus.
Yeah.
Because that shit was strong as...
Yeah, you go with what's good, not what's cheap.
I don't know what... Well, it wasn't cheap. It was just a convenient...
Just different.
It was convenient. I was trying to stay within brand. And, because most brands, they want to... 3M works with 3M, was worth 3M. Let's keep it all the same. But I think I had a better bond with Optibond Solo Plus.
Yeah.
So I do have a few Reddit questions. None of them are about a periodontist. So in Ask Dentist on Reddit, Sober Rufus writes, is my dentist ripping me off? I went to a private dentist today, and I was told I needed 3 fillings. He has charged me roughly £300 per filling, so I'm assuming this person's in England. See what I did there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And with all the associated costs, it comes to around £1,000. Aside from that, there is nothing else wrong with my teeth. I feel really weird about this, as online, I cannot see anyone paying more than $150 on private and only $65 NHS. I am tempted to try the NHS route. Advice is appreciated. Thanks.
Well, NHS route, you're most likely getting amalgam, and you're going to get the cheapest of whatever they can provide. So when you go private, generally there is a choice in what's going to be used. And you're paying to go private. You're going to get seen on time, be done on time. Things will be done in a more normal manner.
And that's such a hard thing, because there are plenty of private places that still behave as if it was an NHS or Medicaid type of facility. Because I have a friend from high school that worked in the insurance industry, and he would always quote their studies and things, and you had to take everything with the grain of salt that he ever said, because he was very, very pro insurance, because hell, it was his employer. He worked for Primera, so what can you do? And he said, because one litmus test, that you pay more, you're going to get better quality. And he goes, studies have proven that that's not necessarily true. Only because they're able to find that one dentist who all debts are paid and he doesn't need anything, and he just never raised his fees in years and years. So now his fees are average to low, but he still does a really good job. And he doesn't care to turn a profit or much of a profit or whatever. So you're going to have those guys skewing it. It's really hard to say. And for those that were wondering, I just did the math. 1,000 pounds is about $1,360 in the United States dollars. So $1,300 to do 3 fillings. That is
a little bit high. But we also don't know. We're not getting a circumstance. We're not getting how big is he basically doing a crown.
Yeah,
we're not
going heroic. Is this?
Is he trying to prevent him from having to spend the money of a crown? So instead of $300 a tooth, should it actually be $1,300 to $1,500 a tooth, because it should actually be a crown?
Yeah.
So it's
we've had. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who had the same experience. We've had a lot of patients think, I'm just going to go save money, and they go to some insurance mill, and then they come back. When I have people that leave and then come back, I know that I've got that patient for life,
right?
Or until they move, because they now know what the difference is, the experience. Because I feel like I give a good experience that a lot of people wouldn't otherwise get, where because of the materials I use, like a typical crown, we can be done so quickly and efficiently, including the crown seat appointment. It just fits perfectly. There's no adjusting. The margins are awesome and everything. So sometimes when a patient, they may not ever really experience or have enough feedback to even know how good they had it. And it's that Cinderella song. You don't know what you've got until it's gone.
Don't know what you got till it's gone.
So yeah. The next question actually kind of goes along those same things, because in Ask Dentist, this run_nerd, I had a routine cleaning and the dentist barely looked at my teeth. Just wondering if that is normal. I recently started seeing a new dentist and went in for my first cleaning. The hygienist was very thorough, asked a lot of questions, tools, x-rays, etc. When it was time for the dentist to come in, she looked at my mouth and teeth for maybe 30 seconds and said everything looked good. I've had a variety of hygienists and dentists over the years, and I know the hygienist usually does the grouting stuff. I don't know what that means, but maybe scraping. But this kind of surprised me. Is this fairly normal? I was just curious what other practices are like.
Well, if you have a doctor who looks at the x-rays ahead of time.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I try to do.
Right. And you have a hygienist who actually knows how to do her job.
Yeah. I found a lot of hygienists think that their job is just to polish teeth, and that's it. They say nothing to the patient. They really just glorified polishers.
Yeah. A dental assistant.
That's not what the role of the hygienist is.
The role of a hygienist is to sell dentistry and to communicate between the patient and the doctor. So if the hygienist has seen something in your mouth, the doctor already knows before he comes in there.
And a well-trained hygienist is going to have already talked to the patient about the problem. And then when the doctor comes in, tells the doctor what they've seen and maybe even told the patient what they think the doctor may do for the treatment. Like they suspect this large amalgam, they see this crack. I know many times the doctor will put a crown on a tooth like this. Let's see what he thinks, to give the doctor an out, because he might look at it and say, yeah, I'm not crowning that. So you don't want to commit the person to a crown and then have the doctor deflate everything and say, nope.
But if everybody has done their job and the doctor has already looked at the x-rays and already come in and the hygienist has done her job, he doesn't need to be in there for an hour and a half.
Right.
An exam is...
that's the thing. If you're healthy, what I found is, because we were watching The Amazing Race, and the one guy had made a comment.
What's his name? Penn.
Big fan of the Holderness family. Kim and Penn are
They're
awesome.
adorable, and I hope they win.
They're just awesome, and so yeah.
But yeah, he made a shit comment.
He made it. Well, it wasn't a shit comment. It was funny.
It's a shit
But
comment.
he said, it's like the dentist doesn't even do anything. He just comes in for 5 minutes and he's out the door. So I made a comment on Facebook. It said, I tap out at 3 minutes. So shut up.
Mind yourself, sir. Mind yourself.
The reality is, healthy people think that. The people that have actual problems and issues that need to be fixed, they then experience the true experience from a dentist.
Right. But
so this person probably was so healthy, got their teeth clean, nothing was amiss.
Well, yeah,
and so
then
the
it
X-rays were
basically
boring.
says it in their comments of, I've seen a lot of dentists and hygienists over the years. Well, if you've been going to the dentist and you maintain
care of
yourself
yourself.
and you actually brush your teeth and
Check
occasionally,
yourself before you
check
wreck
it
yourself.
before wreck it. But a dentist doesn't mean he's not doing his job. It's meaning that he did his job.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like how we explain to patients when we do like a chrome. The planning is done before you ever come into the office.
Mm-hmm.
We spend a lot of time planning yours so that when you come in, we can do the treatment in as little time as possible.
Well, even just a single unit, single crown, single implant. Because people are saying, well, gosh, it takes so little time. Why is it so expensive? So the way I try to tell patients is, years ago, we would plan for about 15, 20 minutes, and then the surgery was an hour and a half. Now we plan for an hour and a half to make the surgery 15 to 30 minutes. So the time, everything involved is identical, but your experience is enhanced and shorter and better and all that. So that's why the fee isn't going to go down. I had one patient, they just thought that they were just going to keep waiting to do treatment because remember when a big screen TV was $10,000 and now we can get it for $150? So I'm like, yeah, no.
It's not ever going to happen.
This is like a car. Remember when a car was $800? Now it's $80,000. So no, it'll never go down.
Yeah,
Take
it's
care of
not
it
going
now.
down. Cost of everything that's associated with it is not going down. So
I think this person just is healthy and
well, and you don't know what the doctor was doing before they walked into your operatory. He may have been scrolling through all of the x-rays that were just taken and looking for anything that might be amiss that he could then take a look at in your mouth. But if there's nothing on the x-rays and he gets into your mouth and you have nothing wrong with you, it doesn't take forever to say, you look good.
Yeah. Unfortunately, they didn't spend much time with them. And for me, that means I need to spend maybe 5-10 minutes getting to know them. Hey, how you doing?
Especially if they're brand new.
If they're new. I have a thing. If it's brand new, I don't talk teeth for at least 3 minutes. I try to find 2 to 3 things to talk about to connect in some way, and then start talking teeth because the patient experience. If perception is reality. You might have done a thorough job, but if they don't feel like you did.
But I would recommend, if you are one of those guys that does kind of pop in for 3 seconds, I would preface your exam with, well, I've been looking over your x-rays.
Yeah.
And look at the hygienist and say, did you see anything that maybe I missed in the x-rays?
Mm-hmm.
And then so that they know that you are spending more time on them, but maybe not more time in their mouth.
Yeah. That's one reason why a lot of my healthy people, I tarot scan them just to try to take more than 2 seconds, and which is just good to digitize them anyway and have a record to be able to compare in the future and stuff. And it totally impresses the patients. They get to see, because Tyler yesterday, I scanned him and he was just like, oh my God, this is awesome.
Yeah.
He had really nothing going on.
Yeah. Well, because he takes care of his teeth.
Yeah, he's healthy and he's a good kid. So, kid, he's 20.
20.
I just, in my mind, he's still like 4.
I know. He's been with us his entire
Yeah.
life. So
it's, yeah. All right. Final Reddit. Mog Milk asks, dentist is splitting my root canal treatment into 3 sessions. Pain between sessions normal? Hi, I'm 19 years old and recently moved to a new city. I didn't have a dentist in this city, so when I got a toothache recently, I just registered in a new dental clinic nearby to where I live. I had a cavity, and the dentist said it was best I go for a root canal treatment as the cavity exposed the nerve, and that's what was causing the pain. I began treatment yesterday, and the dentist told me they would be splitting up the treatment over 3 sessions. In yesterday's treatment afterwards, she told me she had removed the decay, left the root inside, and temporarily filled the tooth until our next session next week. I am a little nervous at this point because I was under the impression that the root would be removed with the decay, and it's been about 36 hours since the decay removal, and I still have tooth pain similar to how it was before any procedure. I suppose I was just wondering if splitting up the procedure this way is normal, and if pain after this first step is normal. First of all, the treating dentist just did a terrible explanation of what they're doing.
It's the communication.
We're not removing your root. I've had so many people say, I don't have any teeth left. And then you're like, I see your teeth in your head. Well, no, all the roots are gone, and now there's crowns now. I'm like, you have no idea what's been done to you.
Well, I have found that dentists really don't know how to communicate.
Yeah, there are a lot of shitty communicators.
And that's something to work on. That's something to really think about, because when you can't communicate in the dental office, you can't communicate anywhere.
Yeah.
And
to me, hearing it, the splitting up into 3 sessions, to me that means, they have a necrotic tooth and they're trying to do something to prevent further future issues.
Yeah.
So probably filling up calcium hydroxide to try to and let it soak in there for weeks.
But like with this, we don't have all the information. Was it infected? Was it swollen to like elephantitis?
Yeah.
Was it? I mean, because with that, they're going to open the tooth, put
draining pus.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to put stuff in there. They're maybe going to put her on an antibiotic.
Yeah.
They're going to, there's a lot of reasons why you would break it up, and communication is key in every aspect of your life. If you can't communicate, you are screwed. Mm-hmm. And you look bad. You just look bad, because there's no reason to not tell the patient what is happening with them. It goes back to the episode that I talked about. Your patients aren't stupid. Mm-hmm. You're just assuming they are.
Yeah. Well, and whenever I'm places that don't have, I have visual aids. I'm a son of a teacher, so I understand the different ways that people
learn.
Take in information. So I like to have, that's why I have PowerPoints for the big procedures that we do. I like models to show things. And this sounds like this person had enough involved in this tooth. Their expectation was one thing, and they're getting something different. So you better explain why.
Well, and
the endodontist probably.
Well, that's the thing, is she doesn't know that she's gone to an endodontist. It sounds like she thinks that she just went to a different dentist.
Yeah.
And this is a specialist, and the specialist, this is one thing. I've only run into one endodontist that I don't think is a complete ridiculous communicator. And I don't know if that's a thing, but if you can't communicate.
So you're saying all the endodontists out there?
No, but all the ones that I've met aren't great communicators. It's like they're a little bit on the spectrum where.
Well, I think you have to be in order to become an endodontist.
Yeah, where you do one thing.
Only a spectrum person would.
And so, great. Now we're going to get all kinds of hate mail. People are going to be shit talking us on all the forums.
Yeah.
No one's going to defend us.
Yeah.
But it's, again, going back to therapy, learning to communicate, talking with somebody.
Because an endodontist wants to do it in a single visit.
They don't want to keep having to have you come back.
So doing it in 3, and then usually I see here in 2. So to do it in 3 means, unless they're including the very first visit that they went and got referred from in that, but usually it's 2.
Because my other thing must be
really bad if it's 3.
Did she have the initial appointment, then she went to the endodontist, he put calcium hydroxide in it, then he was going to do the root canal, then she was going to have the crown done. So she's got all of these visits that are incorporated in this one tooth.
I mean, it was one of the visits an emergency? So fine. They opened the tooth up, didn't really extirpate anything, and just put cotton pellet soaked in like former Cresol or CMCP or something in there, just to help
Kill some stuff.
Kill stuff. And if so, then yeah, you're probably not going to feel great until the next visit when they really go out there and clean it and debride everything.
Yeah. So there's a lot of factors in there that we're not getting.
Yeah, that's why asking questions on Reddit sometimes probably not the right way to get answers to your questions. You should probably talk to your doctor.
Well, and that's the thing. And the doctors
Not
need
us.
to actually be able to talk to their patients and explain to them what they're doing. It doesn't matter that you know what you're doing. They also need to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be doing stuff that they really have. They're just hoping that you're going to help them. And, you know, if you're doing something weird or crazy or it's going to take forever, you need to explain to them why. You know, help them out because you'll only look better.
Yeah.
And I mean, because we have a lot of engineers in our office.
Yeah, we're close to Boeing.
And
Get a lot of
so,
Boeing people here.
you know, they are very technical. They want to know exactly what you're doing and how you're going to do it and why you're going to do it because that's how their brains work. And you're a very good communicator with your patients. They, you know, feel comfortable asking you for more information. They feel like, you know, we care about them. Most of our patients have been here with us forever. And then the new guys that come along, they're like, oh my God, my dentist has never done this before. And
that's when it becomes frustrating when they say, my dentist, all my other dentists never told me this or that. And I'm like, what I just did was so basic. This isn't
new,
extra.
but it's not, but it is extra when it's never happened before.
Yeah.
But we also have large screen monitors for the patient to actually see what you're seeing.
Yeah.
So you're looking at them through magnification so we can put it on the screen and they can see exactly what you're talking about. And, you know, those types of things make a big difference. And so, yeah, this is, dentistry is an interesting little bugger. Yeah.
Well, I think we should probably wrap it up.
Okay. Well, sorry I wasn't drunk because, well, I was at the very beginning and then it just went sideways.
You
So
got 2 minutes of drunk Holly, but sober the morning after Holly was
a little bit more
different.
conscious.
So rate and review us, everyone.
Yes.
We started off
it
talking
was
about
so exciting to get reviews and to get messages, and it makes it really fun.
Yeah. It's
I
proving that people are actually listening.
And I
as
don't
opposed
know
to-
if I'm going to be able to do this, you know, very much longer, or if Josh is coming back or what he's doing, but I really super enjoyed it. But yeah, let us know what you think so we know what we should do.
So if people wanted to communicate with you, how do they find you?
Facebook, Holly Homiak Timmerman Chomchak, Globetrotter Grub on Instagram.
Okay.
Or Travel Girl 71 because that's another Instagram handle that I
So
have.
you've got a couple accounts, so you can comment on yourself.
Yes.
And give yourself
a
kudos.
pat on the back.
Yeah.
You're doing great. You're awesome, Holly.
Because that one fake influencer was getting all these. I think he became a KOL because he had like 10 accounts that he would compliment himself with.
Yeah, which is so
and
weird.
have
I think
conversations with himself. I wonder if he's got a disorder that.
like multiple personality.
Like maybe he really was honest feedback to himself.
Yeah, you might have a split personality. That's kind of weird. That's a little scary.
A little bit.
But yes, we actually do see when you comment on stuff and you know, make mention of what we're doing. It does make us feel good, and we appreciate it.
Well, and we like to give shout outs to you because I think Erin's associate's name is Brittany. So
Okay.
I think if I remember right, correct me if I'm wrong. moved from Chicago, wanted to get away from a city.
Yes.
So that's why they're in Pahrump.
Yep. Which is interesting because that's the wine capital of Nevada, if you did not know that.
So we actually went to a winery. There were 2 wineries that we found in Pahrump.
And because I work in wine, and so anytime we go anywhere, we always try to find if there's a winery there.
Yeah, I mean, they said, oh, well, it's over, you just got on this road and it's over there. And we didn't realize, well, I think we knew quickly.
It was
an hour.
Yeah, but if you have a really fast car, it's a really fun drive.
Yeah, there's some straightaways. That are pretty cool.
Yeah, but so if you ever go visit Pahrump, there's some wineries there.
There's some wine.
A couple of cool looking wineries. Mm-hmm. But anyone else?
Shout out to and it was cool. Chris Stafford, my friend in Ireland. Well, he's now in.
Did he make it?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's been back and forth. Anyway, someone had a vet question in our shitters group and said, "Isn't your wife Krystina a vet?" And shared an X-ray of a hip dysplasia or something. And so it was really cool. Krystina was able to, through Chris, give vet advice. And so.
Well, I'm glad he finally made it to his wife because that was a whole thing.
Yeah, being the whole COVID shutdown bullshit, travel restrictions and everything. So.
Yep.
So
I think that's about it. But shout out to Erin Elliott for WID.
Yeah, and Gary Holtzclaw also.
Yes.
Beat her to it this last week.
Good job,
So that's why he
Gary.
wrote WID and WID.
But that
you
is.
can find me, Dr. Timmerman DMD.
It's not about you.
On Instagram. Clearly. Clearly.
But I got to pick the song this week.
This is your song. So tell us about your song.
So if you've never seen the movie Empire Records, watch it. It's kind of like a no-brainer, super fun movie with great soundtrack.
It tanked in the box office.
It did, which usually means it's one of the best movies out there.
A cult classic.
And
our kids all can quote it, and it's
such a fun movie to watch. It reminds me of, in the movie, the boss reminds me of my boss that I had at McDonald's when I was in high school.
Okay.
And so I watch it with so much joy. And
so we have Working Interferences Day, because when our episode drops, becomes Working Interference Day, which made you think of
Rex Manning Day.
That's right.
Oh, Rexy, you're so sexy.
Rexy, you're so sexy.
And so that's where the song is coming from this week.
Okay, so what song?
What's it called?
Oh, the O L'Amour?
Yes.
Or,
I don't know the name. I never know the name of the artist, and I never know the name of the song.
Je t'adore, O L'Amour, or what
I always know the songs. I just know what I like. But the soundtrack is phenomenal from that movie, so everybody should listen.
Say No More, Mon Amour.
All right, so that's going to be our song. So enjoy it because it's amazing.
It's a terrible
it's
song.
Rex Manning Day.
People are going to send hate mail to you for making them listen to that
so
song.
Funny.
All right, so for Holly Timmerman, I am Lance Timmerman. Peace.
I love you.
Oh, Rexy, you're so sexy.
Hello, baby.
Hi, what are you doing?
Rien du tout.
Do you want to come over?
Pourquoi pas? You call me on my coffin with a je ne sais quoi. You say you need a little of my ooh-la-la. I know you get lonely in your Canada bed. Well, say no more, baby, I'll be running everywhere. Say no more, mon amour. I'll bring my loving right to your front door. Here I come, baby, je t'adore. Let's have a kissing, baby. Say no more. Say no more. Say no more. You greet me with a smile and a glass of rosé. Find myself distracted by your black negligee. You tell me everything with that look on your face. Well, say no more, baby, let's cut to the chase. Say no more, mon amour. I'll bring my lover right to your front door. Here I come, baby, je t'adore. crève sans toi. Oh, je souffre. Ah, qu'est-ce que je veux te baiser. Ah, ta bouche délicieuse. Ravissant. Oh, bébé.
Say no more, mon amour.
I bring my loving right to your front door.
Here I come, baby, je t'adore.
Let's have a kissing, baby. So say no more. Qu'est-ce que je veux te baiser. J'arrive, 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 j'arrive. Oh, bébé, oh, oh, mon amour.